What's up, YouTube? This is the Mermail Master coming at you guys from the Team Time Riders YouTube channel with another discussion video today. And in today's discussion video, I wanted to discuss why Yu-Gi-Oh needs casual players. I was actually having this discussion yesterday with the owner, one of the owners of my local card store, as well as one of the other attendees. And some of the common themes that we discussed upon was a kind of dislike of the competitive mindset that disregards the casual player. And what I mean by this is, I'm a competitive player. Like, I've been a competitive player for a long time. And, I can go to events and, like regionals, YCSs, whatever. And, it's a lot of fun to be able to attend events like that and meet a lot of different people from all over the country and possibly all over the world as well. But Yu-Gi-Oh is a lot more diverse in a lot of different ways than certain sports. I think the difference between Yu-Gi-Oh is that it's something that's supposed to appeal to all ages. The creators created it first as a children's card game, but it sort of evolved into something that's a little bit more than that, and is largely played by 20-something-year-olds, and, just a lot of people who are interested in just trading cards and building decks, and a lot of the construction of the game is around that. You compare it, for instance, to something like chess. Chess is a very, it's a game with only one path to success. You're either competitive in the game, or you're really not. And you can be a casual chess player, but there's a clear path to victory in a lot of different ways. And everyone's always trying to get better, and you might not be the best that there is, but you can work to become better. However, in Yu-Gi-Oh, some people who play the game maybe just want to play the game for fun. And they don't really care about bettering themselves or becoming hyper-competitive in playing it. And the great thing that Konami does is they create decks and they create strategies geared towards casual players who just want to have fun in the game, who want to maybe pull off some bombastic combos or have a duel that focuses on some lesser-used cards. And so that's the kind of casual play that I also like. While I do like competitive, sometimes the environment can be stifling. But for casual players, there is a lot more opportunity for benefit, if you will, than playing competitively. And the thing about competitive Yu-Gi-Oh is it's people consistently creating the best possible strategy to win. And that's kind of cool in and of itself. But the problem is with the toxic and competitive mindset that anyone who is not trying to be the best, therefore sucks, and should not, even be playing this game, or, playing competitively against someone who is a casual player and who is just in the game for fun, like beating down on a kid for the very first time without taking time to explain your moves, or just not really making any concessions for other casual players or people who would enter the game in other means. That's in combination to a lot of different things that make the environment very, very toxic for a new player to enter, particularly the competitive environment. The reason the casual sphere largely exists is because there are people who, they just want to, when they're playing this game, they just want to let go of their mind and just have a fun, enjoyable time. And a lot of decks that Konami makes are geared toward that. You think about things like desk bots or, like digital bugs or some random archetype that Konami has created primarily to appeal to casual players. They know it's never going to be good, such as like Red Eyes or Buster Blader, but it's something that really appeals to that casual base and the people involved in that. And so the competitive mindset that I'm talking about is one in which people make fun of others or they demean others for playing such decks. Someone has an anime deck or something like that, and then they get beaten down by True Draco or by Zodiac, it's the same kind of scenario where someone's running like maybe a fun deck, but then a competitive player comes in and changes that. But I think that competitive and casual Yu-Gi-Oh can mix so long as casual, like the competitive player is, agrees not to play something hyper competitive or to act hyper competitively in an otherwise casual environment. You can still try and make the best possible plays, but there's a lot to be gained from being casual. For one, you have the ability to start playing, some kind of strategies that you really wouldn't touch if you were a competitive player. True Draco and Zoo are now currently the two best decks in the format, and, mixtures of the two decks have been topping YCSs in the same vein as Dragon Rulers, kind of when they had their year-long reign at the top. But let's say that you wanted to play something equivalent to like a Yugioh or a Fire Fist or something of that nature, but you didn't want to have that kind of stifling competitive, deck building that occurs in that other, when running something completely competitive. The true fact of the matter is that things like True Draco and things like Zodiac are just so strong they can either very, very effectively disrupt a casual deck or completely out-resource the deck to a point where it can't really come back. And that can be kind of demoralizing for a lot of casual players. A lot of the decks that people like playing the decks that really, kind of have that sticking power are strategies that allow your opponent to play the game. Not a lot of people really hated Dragon Ruler format because Dragon Ruler format the Dragon Rulers themselves were just very powerful out-resourcing cards that did not disrupt your opponent's plays. But Zodiacs and True Dracos are actively built around disruption and dodging your opponent's card effects. And, at least for a lot of casual players, that's not really something, for a lot of players, that's not really something that they want to do. So, getting the chance to take a break from that and play in something else is like a very, very beneficial thing for them. The next thing that I want to mention as well is the fact that tournament settings, I think, are a very, very scary time for a casual player because you're entering in a brand new tournament, and since it's tournament setting, no one's really going to take it easy on you. They may give you a couple of things, but in the end, it's all out to win. And it's nerve-wracking, and it's troublesome, and if you're a new player, it might not be your cup of tea. Versus, take, for instance, playing casually or playing, just in a group of friends or, in the kids who just come to hang out at the store and play duels against each other. That provides a lot more interaction. Because in those kinds of situations, you have people who are running decks like Harpies or Boojins or, maybe things that are not really that good even now. It allows you to have and savor the kind of interactions in this game that are not really present anymore. Having a Bujingi Crane and an Honest dropped in the same time. It's, something like that, or having the chance to special summon Hieratic Dragon of Atum against your opponent. There's a lot of current decks, or a lot of past decks that used to be competitive. Getting neutered on the ban list, push them towards casual. As well as if they get power crapped as well. That those decks, if you want to go back and enjoy them, you have the outlet and the ability to do so. Then the next thing as well is that just in the store as general, people who believe that they're better than everyone else tend to gravitate towards competitive circles and to try to be better than other people. And as I mentioned before, it creates a very, very toxic environment that's troublesome for casual players to really get involved in. Because if you have that one person who enters a casual tournament or who is in, some kind of casual event and they really try their hardest all the time and beat you down in 2 turns, then there's really not any reason to play it. You know, look at a YCS, for instance. You have, like, Attack of the Giant card. You have, like, the you know, smaller Pegasus Challenge, different events like that. And in these events, you see people running, like, their competitive strategies. Like, a lot of these events were side events that were meant for casual players who did not really want to enter into the main event and to be as competitive, and then you have people bring in the best decks to those formats and, you know, trying to you know, take the whole thing. Which, yes, you know, if you want to take the whole tournament, you take the best decks, but the, you know, the sort of, like, message and meaning of that tournament was distorted in a way by the fact that, you know, you can play the best deck even in a casual tournament, and you can probably win the tournament, and, you know, it wouldn't make a lot of people particularly happy. And, you know, that's not to say that that's what you shouldn't do, but it's just indicating that, you know, you take action A, and action B is more than likely to result from action A. But yeah. So I guess to finish this off, since I've kind of been rambling for a little bit, is just that I think in order to have an environment for someone who really, really wants to play the game, but is not, you know, either doesn't want to enter into a stifling competitive atmosphere where they're, you know, where they're struggling to take even a single win, or they just want to play the game to have fun, and maybe, you know, they can't afford the best deck, but they still want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, casuals is a very, very necessary part of the game, and I think it's something that has to stay around. You know, a lot of my team and I, we play largely casual decks against each other, and it creates, you know, the kind of interactions and plays that you don't really see in the most competitive things. You know, sometimes we'll just play a deck versus a deck and not even side. And it's not so much about whether or not you can take the win, but the journey that you have along the way. Because at the end, like, dueling is where you sit across from someone and you meet them. But if you're just sitting there and you're making your plays and you're not really engaging with your opponent or trying to get to know them, you know, that's toxic. That's toxic. And, like, there's an environment for that in the competitive sphere, but, you know, for people who don't want to turn their mind on when they play Yu-Gi-Oh!, they'd rather turn it off, casuals, I think, has to stay. So this was my little spiel on competitive versus casual Yu-Gi-Oh! If you guys liked the video, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. But this has been the Mermail Master with the Team Time Riders Yu-Gi-Oh! channel, and I'm signing out. Catch you guys next time. Peace.